Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 12th episode of our gaming news podcast, the PackCast. Our hosts today, as always, are Cool Turner Camillo, the Janebo, Dan from the Tea Lounge, and myself, Phil Fantastic. And together, guys, we are the Game Pack. We're going to be talking about a few things today. Today, we'll be talking about the Joy-Con Drift lawsuit. We're going to be talking about the Witcher TV show. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 launched last week, and we've got some surprising Fortnite news. So let's just jump right into it. All right, let's talk about Joy-Cons. We got two stories about Joy-Cons this week. The first one, there's new colors. We've got blue and neon yellow, and then we've also got neon orange and neon purple, which is my personal favorite of the new Joy-Cons. Do you guys have a personal favorite of the new two released Joy-Con colors, or do you have a personal favorite from some that have already been released? And I'm going to throw it on over to Camillo. What do you think?
I really like the orange and purple. The blue and yellow look cool. I already have a yellow one, so I'm not really inclined to pick that up. But yeah, I like the orange. If the orange and blue together, that'd be really nice. But the orange and purple is cool. I like that one.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It reminds me of, it's very Splatoon-y. I think it matches like those other Splatoon ones. How about you, John? Do you have a favorite of those two, or a different favorite?
Well, I like the blue one, like that's in the blue and yellow. I don't really like the yellow, but I do like the Mario Odyssey red ones. They never.
Oh yeah, those are sick.
They never released them separately. I don't think. I think it had to be in that bundle. I might be wrong, unless it was maybe in Japan you could buy them.
Maybe.
I think they were separate in Japan, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, those are nice.
They might work on your Switch, so maybe check eBay.
But they probably will work. I don't really want to import.
Well, it's not. Switch isn't region locked, so you're good.
And moving over to Dan, what do you think about the new Joy-Cons?
Well, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of pretty much any of the colors they've released so far.
Okay.
The Mario Odyssey red looks kind of cool. I like red. But yeah, they kind of look like puke a little bit. Some of the colors. I'm not really a neon guy. It would have been my Switch that I have is just the gray one because that was what was available. It would have been nice to have like a little different shade of gray though, so I could at least tell them apart with oh, this is my controller and that's yours. Right. That would have been nice. So I'm a fan of having options and having a lot of different variety of colors because that means more people can join in and have their own controller.
Sure. But
the colors themselves, not so much.
Yeah, it would be. I think it would be nice if they just had a little bit more standard colors.
Yeah.
You know, just go maybe make
black,
like
white.
Yeah, like John's black, white, or just like more standard, like a more standard blue, more standard red, just something that you could pick from. I mean, not to get too off tangent, how many Wiimotes did they have at the end of the Wii's life? So many.
It was really
they had to
towards
upgrade
the
it.
Wii U. Like they started coming out with all those colors and like the Mario Wii remotes. That was when the Wii U came out. So
were those official Nintendo Wii's?
Yeah.
Were they?
Yes, they were. So yeah. So hopefully we'll maybe get some more unique things that we can buy separately. It would be cool to get Zelda Joy-Cons that you don't have to buy a collector's edition Switch for. But those are our hopes, those are our dreams.
I think like the special designs on the Joy-Cons, those are gonna stick inside. Like you have to buy a new Switch.
Those are
I really don't like the Smash
colors.
ones.
Yeah, like
a lot
Joy-Cons
more
like
options
that, they're not gonna do separate.
The Pro controller really needs a lot more color options as well.
Yeah.
I like
have
the
the
Splatoon. You have the
Splatoon.
Splatoon one, right?
Yeah.
I'm sad that I missed out on that one. I kind of want it because they haven't really had special edition ones that I find appealing. Like the Xenoblade one's kind of cool because it has the pink grips, but like the Smash one is kind of boring.
I like the Smash one. It's like white on the legs.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was just black with the Smash ball in the middle.
Yeah, if I didn't have the Splatoon one, I probably would have got that one.
Yeah,
nice.
It's kind of weird. I see a lot of different options for a controller. It's not exactly the Pro controller. It's like the Pro Lite controller. It doesn't have the like the
The hoary
they're
wired
bad.
controllers.
They're really bad. I have one.
Yeah.
I got a Splatoon one. They're bad. They're like $25, and it's not worth $25.
But also, guys, those aren't Joy-Cons. So, moving on to our second Joy-Con story of the day. There's a Joy-Con lawsuit that has been officially filed. Basically, guys, what's been happening is, if you don't know, on some Joy-Cons, my Joy-Con included, my left Joy-Con, if I'm not touching it, it will just randomly move in a direction. I first noticed it when I was playing Breath of the Wild around the launch time, and I sort of was played a lot with the Pro Controller, so I didn't notice it for a long time. But now I'm back playing in handheld mode doing Mario Maker, so I'll be building a level, and then Mario will just go up, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, the Joy-Con drift. And I did reach out to Nintendo when I did first see the problem happening. They said, no problem, we'll repair it, we'll send you a UPS label or whatever. And they never sent me the UPS label, and I didn't have time to follow up back then because I think I was super busy working on a project. And now I think I'm outside my warranty. So I'm like, well, if I can't get my Joy-Con fixed through warranty, I'm going to sign up. They give you a little spot to tell your story on this. It's like basically a form you fill out at this law firm. So I filled out my form, I told my story, and I joined. Gosh, do you guys remember? I didn't write it down. How many people actually signed the class action lawsuit?
It's like 5,500.
5,500. It's enough to get it going. So we'll see how that turns out. Have you guys personally experienced this? And how do you feel about the lawsuit? I'm going to go with John.
I have not experienced this, and I've had my Joy-Con since launch. Like, I have both sets Joy-Con since launch. I mean, I don't use it that much. I don't use the Joy-Con that much. I usually use the Pro Controller, but I haven't experienced it. I do have the problem with the left Joy-Con not syncing, because like the original Switches had that, and I never got that fixed either. I was just too lazy. But Nintendo, I know Nintendo was good about that, and they released a statement today saying to contact support if you have any issues, and they'll try to help you.
All right, so there you go. I think that put a little fire under their butts, and I will guess tomorrow I will be contacting Nintendo to see if I can get another UPS label and get my Joy-Con repaired. What about you, Dan? Have you had any problems with the Joy-Cons themselves?
I've had the problem that they just don't work. They are among the worst controllers I've ever used. They don't stay connected to the system. And I have my system across the room, and there are electronics in between, so there could be some interference. But
that's true.
But I will say that I've never had more than just one or two issues with the Pro Controller over the entire course of owning the system. And it's just constant. Like, I can't even get past Cap Kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey with the Joy-Cons. Sometimes, like, unless I put the system directly next to me, they just are garbage. So I never use them enough to know if there's drift or not.
Do you use them? Do you use handheld mode that much?
Every once in a while, but not really anything that requires precision playing.
Yeah. Cool. Well then, Camilo, what do you think about this whole lawsuit, and have you experienced any Joy-Con problems?
It hasn't happened to me that often, but like if I'm ever shiny hunting and like you get the combo when you're done, you just like sit in the sky, I'll like move and then like let go, and then it keeps moving to the right. But I don't know. It hasn't happened that many times, and like I don't think it's like that big of a deal. Like it hasn't like screwed me to a point where, like, I lost the level.
Made you or failed a shiny or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm kind of indifferent to it. So
okay,
yeah.
How do you feel though? I guess my question would be, for people who couldn't get their stuff fixed through the traditional like support through Nintendo, and Nintendo maybe should have been giving more customer support, do you think that the lawsuit is valid? And what's your opinion on that?
Yes and no, because they shouldn't drift, but I feel like the people who are like putting all this time into the lawsuit don't have a like could be using their time better. Like I feel like they're nitpicking this. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it to the point where it's like destroying my gameplay and I can't use the controllers anymore. Like,
what are you gonna get out of this? What, $80 maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, or 15 cents. Like, I've been a part of class action lawsuits before where you just get almost nothing.
Yeah,
after they cut the lawyer fees out. Yeah,
I do want to say that like this isn't specific to Nintendo, because I've had Xbox controllers that have the same issue. Like after a while, they just start the joystick just starts drifting, and I think it's just the way the thumbsticks are.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could get us one of those can of air, maybe spray it out.
Yeah, there's DIY fixes out there you could look up. But
I think there's also an important distinction to be made between there is stick drift and there's another phenomenon that also happens, which it kind of sounded like might be the situation you were encountering, Cam, where like if you're moving in a certain direction and then you let go and it continues on for a couple more seconds and then stops,
like
that might be related to the connection being lost temporarily, and it continues the last
input
until it reconnects. And drift specifically, I believe in this context of the lawsuit, refers to if you're doing nothing, the stick is sending a signal slightly in a certain direction, just in the neutral position, which also can sometimes be mitigated and fixed by recalibrating. Or like disconnecting and reconnecting.
Like you pull back on the stick and let go and it keeps doing it kind of thing?
Yeah,
like it's a constant thing? Because like what I've experienced is just like, just like push it back and it'll stop.
Right, like Mario will slowly tiptoe in a certain direction until you specifically like crank it in the other direction to kind of shift it, jostle it a little bit. Yeah.
So I guess in summation of the lawsuit thing, I was just going to say, I don't think that anyone really expects to get a fresh new set of Joy-Cons on their front door. I think all people really want is for Nintendo to publicly confront the issue and rectify it. Looks like what they seem to be doing by saying, listen, if you're having the problem, contact customer support. Like, I want to see what happened with the Red Ring of Death, where Microsoft just goes, yup, these are broke. They're super broken. Send them in, and we'll fix them. And
that was billions of dollars, though. I saw something like that cost them billions.
They took a huge hit, but like if they didn't do it, they'd be out of the race.
Yeah,
they would have been done.
I mean, this isn't $1 billion problem,
right?
Yeah, I feel like maybe the lawsuit is a little bit of a publicity stunt to some extent. It could be just to bring awareness to the situation.
Yeah, no, I would partially agree to that.
And try to get a settlement from Nintendo. They don't necessarily intend to bring them to court.
I think what people just want is for their Joy-Cons to work. I don't think anybody wants to take Nintendo to task. I think they just want their toy to work.
Yeah.
So,
because I don't think Nintendo has been specifically like, oh, sucks to be you, your Joy-Con's broken, haha. That's not the type of Nintendo, the company Nintendo really is.
No, there's been zero history of that. Cool. All right, final thoughts, anybody on the lawsuit, or do you want to talk about colors of Joy-Cons anymore?
This kind of did remind me about how like the N64 kind of had trouble with their stick too, like it would like wear out.
Gloves out.
Yeah. So like there was one Mario Party game where you had to like rub the stick in a circle, and people would complain. So if you complained to Nintendo would send you a glove to put on your hand so you could play the game.
Yep, I remember
the power glove.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, Nintendo, please fix our Joy-Cons.
Or send me a power glove.
Moving on to a very interesting story. Netflix is developing a Witcher TV show, The Witcher. Can't forget The Witcher is a fantasy series of novels and stories written by Polish author Andrzej Sapkowski, and that is the best that I can do. It is probably better known as the game trilogy on your platform of choice. It's on pretty much everything. The trilogy is definitely on PC. You could get, I think, 1 and 2 are backwards compatible on Xbox One, and you can also get 3. 3 is coming to the Switch. So pretty much you can get a Witcher experience wherever you choose to do your gaming. It is a very dense action RPG with some pretty adult themes. So that is my hot take in summation of the Witcher franchise. Essentially, it stars Geralt of Rivia, who is a Witcher, which is a type of creature that is like a humanoid that has special senses and abilities that they are basically monster killers for hire. And the story, as far as I could tell, follows some plot line that I'm not particularly aware of because I've only really played Witcher 2 and Witcher 3. So it's a plot line that I'm not familiar with. It might be from the books or the short stories. And it has Geralt just being like a man for hire in this cool fantasy medieval world. Geralt is being played by Henry Cavill. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Cavill. He is known as being portraying Jesus Christ in that Mel Gibson movie that was called
The Passion of the Christ.
The Passion
No,
of
that's
the
Jim
Christ.
Caviezel. You're thinking
Oh,
of
it was?
Jim Caviezel.
Son of a
Yeah.
gun! I was trying to. No, that's what you get for trying to improvise. I didn't have that in the script at all. Okay, so he plays Superman.
Yeah.
He plays Superman in the DC universe. The trailer looks cool, but I am definitely going to reserve my judgment until I've seen at least the first 3 episodes of the show to know whether or not I like it. But I think they're doing a halfway decent portrayal. It looks good. We'll see. I like Netflix shows. I like Stranger Things. So, who here has had the most experience, second most experience with The Witcher, or first most?
I played 5 hours of The Witcher 3.
Okay, so we'll go with John. So we'll go with Dan. No, so we'll go with John. What do you think? You saw the trailer. What do you think?
The trailer looks awesome. I think it looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of magic and like beast. There's a giant spider at the end that looks really neat. And I just like Game of Thrones just ended. So
that's what I was gonna say. Is it gonna fill the void?
Yeah, there's a void of medieval fantasy style shows for me, and I really like Netflix shows. Stranger Things is really good. They have a bunch of original content that I like, so I'm assuming this is gonna be well done. It looks like it's like mature and it's not like kiddie or anything. It looks well acted, and I don't know, I'm excited. I'm interested to see what this brings.
This is definitely a rated R fantasy. There's no two ways about it. This is not for kids. Camilla, why not? You saw the trailer? What'd you think? Is it something that you'd watch?
I did watch the trailer. It looked kind of cool. I kind of got like the Game of Thrones vibe from it, and I'm not really into shows like that at all. So I may watch an episode. I don't think I'd really be into this. I've never really played The Witcher. So
and Dan, have you played The Witcher?
I own it, but I haven't played it. But
Okay.
I would like to play it. Maybe now that it's more relevant, it'll actually get views when I stream it.
Hey man, if you stream it, I'll watch it.
Yeah, because I don't really have time to play off stream. But yeah, as far as like casting and stuff, I know Henry Cavill has a big long career. I remember like early 2000s Count of Monte Cristo, actually with Jim Caviezel, who you referenced earlier.
who I did confuse him with just merely moments ago.
so yeah, he's a good actor. He's been in a lot of good stuff lately and going way back. So I'm sure he can do a great job with it. The trailer looked cool enough. I don't know much about the lore, so I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to watch the show before playing the game, but I think I'll go with the playing the game while it's relevant.
Well, this probably isn't coming out for a while.
I
right?
would say play Witcher 3 first, or figure out what book they're doing. and read the book first.
Ooh, so I have a policy about like whenever there's like a book versus movie or book versus other media, I always read the book last if I can, because I know the book that the source material is going to be the best, and so I don't want to set it on this high pedestal and have worse experiences going down. I'd rather have a good experience like with the movie and then read the book and be blown away like, wow, it expands upon it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm the opposite, because I like to read the description that the author is giving me for what a character looks like and then formulate that in my head. But if it's just like, and Brad Pitt is the Witcher, like I'll never, when reading The Witcher, I will never stop thinking about Brad Pitt. Every time that he's in a scene, it's just like, oh yeah, Brad Pitt. It's just like, he's like shirtless in a bathtub right now, because
I hear you.
that's a scene that just to not be out of context, that happens in The Witcher a lot.
They did confirm there is a bathtub in the Witcher show.
Yeah.
So
yeah. On the flip side, when I read the book and get an image of a character and then I see the translation, I'm like, that's not what that character looks like. I reject that. Well, and then I'm like stubborn the entire time.
Yeah.
I think even the author has like concept art of what Geralt looks like. I don't know. I might be wrong.
Oh, I mean, probably.
They all have weird names. It's like Geralt, Yennefer.
What's the then Ciri?
Ciri, yeah.
I'll probably play the game first.
It's a really good game, but it does have a pretty beefy progression system. So good luck to you.
Yeah,
it's very. It is very like you're living a life. Like you have to care for your own life.
Okay. From what I understand, the games can get a little mature and graphic.
Yes.
I wonder how mature and graphic the show will be.
It's Netflix, so they could probably go pretty far.
They'll probably go as far as the games go.
Yeah. Do you think they'll go as far as Game of Thrones?
Probably. I'm assuming they're trying to make this like their Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be their Game of Thrones. I don't think that there's anything in The Witcher that I've heard about. Like, there's scenes in, I'm not going to talk about on the podcast, there's scenes in Game of Thrones that are disgusting to think about. Like, people...
Like weddings.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, not even the weddings. There's just, there's like a torture scene, for example. And stuff happens. And, I don't think that's going to be in The Witcher. So I think it won't be that bad.
It's not going to be as gruesome.
I don't think so.
Okay.
From that standpoint.
It might. I've been watching The Walking Dead, and that is on cable on AMC, and that goes pretty far.
There's really
about zombies though.
True. There's gross stuff in The Witcher.
But it's not just the zombies part. There's the character interactions. Some of the stuff they do with the characters is pretty intense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far they go.
It's true. I just thought of one side quest that is pretty gross in The Witcher.
And is it the baby?
Yep, it's the baby side quest. It is disgusting.
I mean, that's just how the character looks, though. It's not like...
I was revolted by the whole thing. Every second of that quest.
Yeah,
actually, not really.
Is it just an ugly baby or something?
Nope, we're not talking about it. We can talk about it after. It is demented.
Is it bad? Well, I was probably gonna buy it on the Switch anyway, but now I want it on the Switch even more.
No, man, get it on.
From what I understand, the Switch is going to be a garbage port because it's going to be running in 540p or something like that. What was that? That spec
in handheld? Yeah,
540 in handheld.
Well, it's gonna be triangle things instead of round things,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Witcher is a beautiful game, and if you have the means to play it on something powerful, you should absolutely play it on the most powerful device you have.
You mean I shouldn't play it on my Switch Lite?
Don't play it on your Switch Lite. Play it on your PS4 Pro.
I mean, I feel like it would be a good comparison. Get it on both.
Yeah.
You could get it on PS4 or Xbox for $10.
We can make a video.
And then you're gonna.
That's true.
$60.
I already have it.
40p.
I already have it though. I could just I could do the footage. We can talk about this later.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's wrap up our Witcher conversation. I'm very excited about the show. I want to see it. I'm going to reserve judgment because I don't want to get too excited and be really let down. But it is definitely one of the shows that I'm looking forward to. This year?
They didn't give a date. I don't think they give a date. It's probably
Darn
next
you.
year. It's probably next year.
Early next year.
Okay. Let's move on to another story right after this short message.
I'm Dan Marchetti. Join me at
Abbey Garden Tea Room,
Neville's Restaurant at the British Pantry,
Kirkland, Washington,
Vienna, Austria, Jamaica at the Good Hope Estate. Let's see how it is.
Wow, that was incredibly interesting. Let's get into a Fortnite story. Fortnite is facing a decline? Question mark, question mark, question mark. In 2019, it was a tougher year for Fortnite. Revenue fell 48% month over month across all platforms in January, according to Superdata. The firm also recently claimed Fortnite generated $203 million in revenue in May, noting here that Season 4 was released in May, which is usually at the beginning of a season, there's a spike in revenue for Fortnite. But it was marking a 38% drop from a year earlier. Is Fortnite on the decline? Have we seen the peak of Fortnite? Is something else along the way coming up the pipeline to take its place? I'm going to throw it to our resident Fortnite expert, Camillo. Just kidding, we're going to John.
Well, I think it has peaked. It peaked like last year. Like I think it peaked in 2019, and it's been steadily, declining over time. But it's still the most popular game in the world right now. Like there's no denying that. It's still making. If you're making $200 million on a free-to-play game in 1 month, I think you're still doing pretty dang good. And
it's more popular than like Dota, or like what's the other one?
Maybe
Apex.
not as popular as League of Legends.
League of Legends, yeah, that one is
PUBG.
like
But this has
very popular in
it's
the
like
East.
200 million players or something. Like it's still very relevant.
That's a lot, yeah.
They just had a big event over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They had like a kaiju event. There's like a robot versus a monster. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, like a Godzilla.
Yeah,
type
like
thing.
like a Godzilla type thing.
Cool.
Yeah, have you seen like Pacific Rim?
Yeah,
Those,
that's exactly what it looked like. It was just
yeah.
a Pacific Rim type event. I don't think everything could you can't stay relevant forever.
I'm trying to.
It's phenomenal that it has stayed relevant for this long, because when you think of other games, like I don't know what came out this year. I don't even know what came out this early in the year. Like not many people are talking about stuff that came out early in the year, like
Are we just
Resident
talking
Evil
about
2.
games in general or just free-to-play games?
Just games in general. Like even like Apex Legends, that was a big deal back in February, but now it kind of dropped off.
Yeah, I mean, games definitely have life cycles, and it seems like Fortnite, it's still popular, but it's reached its max popularity. It's not going to ever hit that again from what the data shows, but you never know. They could do a refresh or something like that and bring the audience back. I have played a buttload. I would say a buttload of Fortnite. I like it, but it's not... I don't like the gameplay loop enough to keep coming back. I feel like I get some of the cool skins or some unlocks and stuff, and then I'm like, okay, cool, I did enough for this season, and then I walk away, and now I've walked away again, and I'm not really even sure where we are. Are we still in season 8? Are we in season 9? I don't even know.
I think we're in season 8. I don't know. I honestly haven't played it in a while either, but
yeah. So yeah, it just doesn't really. It's kind of the same thing where they reset it every few months, and they're like, okay, now it's time to quote South Park and chase the dragon again. All right, you've been reset back to 0. Let's get all the way down and like get all the max unlocks for this. But
So
Fortnite is fun. I'm not gonna say it's not fun, but it's...
what carries over between seasons? Like, is everything reset? Just like your gear you keep or something?
No,
Or...
So
yeah,
you keep
all the
your
things.
you
Yeah,
keep all your gear. Well, everything that you unlocked in the previous season, you keep. You keep everything you unlocked in the whole, like over the whole lifetime of your account.
you
like,
lose your experience points in your level.
Yeah, that's all you
both.
really lose. It just resets the level and then like the tiers of the battle pass, and then you get a new battle pass.
It brings
which
you back
costs
to
you
0
$10,
for that, and then you work your way up and get experience points for that.
Yeah. So every, I think, 3 months or so, there's a new season. I think they're actually going to have a new season at the end of this month.
So we'll see if that brings a bunch of people back. Maybe it's a really cool theme that will entice me to come back, but probably not.
Yeah,
We got Mario Maker, we got Fire Emblem. I just got another game we're going to talk about in just a minute. And I'm good.
I mean,
Nintendo's taking care of me this year. We good.
They're trying to stay relevant. Like, they had the Stranger Things event a couple weeks ago. They had this event this past
Avengers.
weekend. They had the Avengers when Endgame came out. Like, they're trying to stay relevant, and they're supporting the game like crazy, which is cool to see. Because like Apex, if we compare the other battle royales, like Apex, they just released season 2 of their stuff. But I know the main complaint of that one is they don't really update the game too much. They don't add new content as much as Fortnite. Same with like PUBG and Call of Duty Blackout.
Well, maybe when when Apex starts making the kind of money that Fortnite's making, they can afford to make the kind of changes that Fortnite makes. But
I mean, they probably made a ton of money like in that first month, because everybody was like Ninja, who's one of the top Fortnite streamers, played Apex.
Yeah, but how much did they pay him to do that?
Apparently, they gave him $1 million, but I don't know if that's true.
So I mean, they
probably made a lot of money off of that, though. Like, $1 million was probably a drop in the bucket with what they made off of it.
Hopefully for their business, yeah. Anybody have any? I know I didn't go to all of you individually. It's just because I know Dan and Cam, you guys don't actually play Fortnite.
I was about to say something, but
yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. Let me throw it to you. I would like to give you a chance to speak.
Yeah. So I don't play Fortnite, but I do talk to like a bunch of people in my Discord that like were playing it a lot, and they were telling me like they haven't picked it up in like months. So like I can tell that like no one's really talking about it anymore, and just kind of like maybe they're not like, I feel like they're not doing enough then. Like they need to be changing more things. I don't know. I don't want to really compare it to like Pokemon Go, but like Pokemon Go recently has been like adding like a lot of like game changing things, and I feel like the install base is like, it's not going to ever be what it was like in like July 2016, but it's like slowly growing over time. As people just get getting dragged back in.
I mean, I think people come back, at the beginning of every season to check, see what's new. I mean, I'll probably buy the Battle Pass again, even though I haven't played that much of this previous one.
I won't, because I bought Battle Pass for this season and I didn't play it at all. So I'm not going to make that mistake again. But I will say thank you to my viewers. My viewers actually bought my Battle Pass this season. So thank you. And I'm sorry I didn't play.
And I can't be upset with Epic, because I got in the Epic Creators Program, and that was really cool. That was a nice little thing that they did for people that were creating content for them. Well, it's still going on, but that's, I mean, they're trying to stay relevant, and it's just hard. It's been out for 2 years. Like, I don't know if people are just fatigued on the Battle Royale stuff. Because what's the next big thing? We don't know what the next. We didn't expect Fortnite to be this way.
I actually know what the next big thing is, and that is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
But I didn't get to say what I was gonna say.
Do you really have something to say, Dan?
I do. I was waiting for a moment to jump in.
All right. Let's
you seem so sad.
Well, it's just this Fortnite segment's pretty long. Go ahead, Dan.
I'll be really quick.
Uh-huh.
I think it's like, even though I don't play the game, I think it's fascinating from like a business standpoint, where essentially these games have become so massive. They kind of remind me of like they're business entities in and of themselves, and they're kind of like a microcosm of like when you look over like decades and decades past of like actual businesses. Like Blockbuster, for example, was huge in the video rental market until Netflix came around and wiped them out with an entirely new business model. By the time they realized what was going on, it was too late.
They were belly up.
Yeah, and that happens over years and years and years. But then this is like the big game, Fortnite. But it's happening so quickly that this huge conglomerate entity, they need to keep making those innovations, or they will fall away to the others who are making the innovations that will draw the people away. And yeah, it's just kind of like it mimics real world businesses, but really quickly and on a smaller scale. It's fascinating.
They might soon pull a Blockbuster.
Yep.
Moving on. Sorry I cut you off, Dan, and I'm glad that you got to speak. I apologize. Moving on. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is showing strong sales at launch. You want to know why? Because John and I bought it on launch day. I used the voucher program. I think Dan or John, you also used the voucher program. Am I correct?
Yes.
I am absolutely hooked. I am a huge Marvel nerd. I'm subscribed to the Marvel Unlimited service. I love to read the comics. I've seen all the movies. Actually, just recently saw Spider-Man Far From Home, and whoo, baby, did I like the events that transpired in that movie. No spoilers. Oh, man. It features one of my favorite Marvel characters of all time, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and he did an amazing job, and I loved it so much. Anyways, so the game has its flaws for sure, and we're really hoping that some of these get patched out. I don't think they're gonna patch out the graphical problems, because I think that's there to stay. The graphics are what the graphics are. But some audio flaws I've been hearing are, it sort of sounds like somebody's like talking through a tin can, or like has a voice box or something. Like the voices will get garbled in a really weird way. And I noticed that like when I was first playing the game, and it pops up every once in a while. And that's odd. And then there's also a pretty big disparity between what the cutscenes look like and what the gameplay looks like. And we haven't seen that really on modern systems. Usually what we've been seeing more recently is that we'll see in-game cinematics using the assets that are in the game. But we'll see like a pre-rendered cutscene, cut to kind of jaggedy characters that look a little bit pixelated.
It's just blurry outside of the cutscenes.
It looks odd. And then the environments leave a little bit to be desired. But I think the hero designs are good. That is one thing I wanted to note. I think I really, really like Gamora's outfit, because she's wearing armor on all of her body, and she's a female character in the Marvel universe, and she's wearing armor on all of her body. And I'm just like, this should be for everyone. This doesn't make sense. But then like 2 hours later in the game, Psylocke shows up and she's like, "This is my entire leg. What up, fam?" And I'm just like, okay, I thought we came so far, but we didn't. And then I'm going to stop ranting in just a little second and throw it over to you guys. But there's also a duplication glitch where essentially you can change your team at a shield extraction point. And say, for example, you unlock Venom, and then you put Venom on your team. But Venom is also standing in the corner, and you can go talk to him. But they don't give you unique dialogue like, "Oh my gosh, like, you're me, what are you doing?" Like something funny like that. It's just like, it's whatever your character would have said. It's always the same piece of dialogue. And then whatever Venom would have said is voice acted. So it's just like a weird thing that like they definitely could have anticipated. and would have seen on any playthrough. Because as soon as you can play as anybody else besides Guardians of the Galaxy, you change your character, and all of those characters are there. Yeah. So if you change your character, there is a duplication in that first scene. So I just think there's no excuse for that in this day and age. And then lastly, I just wanted to say, for my little mini review here within the podcast, it is a fun fan service, dungeon crawling, beat 'em up game, button masher game with some rough edges. I think it's a very good game. And if you like Marvel and you just want a fun Marvel game, this game is definitely for you. And throwing it over to the other person who bought it before we pass it off, I'm going to throw it right down below to John.
Yeah, so I'm really enjoying it too. I was a little lukewarm on like the first hour or so when you have to play as the Guardians, because some of those characters aren't that fun to use. Like I didn't really like Groot. Like I was excited to play as Groot, but I don't like him.
Yeah, he doesn't play that great. Gamora, though, on the other hand.
Yeah, Gamora is good, and Drax is okay, but the Star-Lord, I didn't like how he moved either. But that's what I like about this game. Like, you encounter characters, and you just try them out. And if you like them, you keep them on your team. Mm-hmm. And if not, they just sit on the bench for the whole game.
Yep, don't have to see them ever again. And one thing to note is that they all, even though the gameplay is pretty similar, there's light attack, heavy attack, and then 4 specials, they do play different. Like, Gamora is fast with her sword. Like, the Hulk is slow with his fists. But, like, there's not just, like, 4 people who are, like, kind of like the Hulk. And, like, there's not, like, 4 swordsmen. Like, Wolverine plays a little bit like Gamora, but he's also a little bit different. Psylocke plays a little bit like them, but she's also a little bit different because she does her magic. So, it's just I think that they did a good job making each character feel unique and not just like a different skin.
Yeah. I do feel like it's out of a different era of games. Like, I feel like it's, back in the 360 era where...
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I mean, it doesn't look that great. The cutscenes look fine. Like, I think the cutscenes look good. The character models and the cutscenes are good. But when you get out of it, it's blurry and pixelated. Doesn't look the best. And then also the like you said, the environments, they're just tunnels. They're essentially tunnels and alleys that you go down, you fight some enemies.
Yep. It is definitely the sequel to a game that came out 10 years ago.
Yeah. And then all the cutscenes have the Guardians of the Galaxy in them. No matter who you are, it doesn't matter your team at all.
I disagree. They are pre-chosen, but it's not always the Guardians. It's whomever they chose for that cutscene.
Well, still, the point is, like, why can't we have the team that we're actually using be in the cutscene? Like, they're not even there.
There's like 50 characters, and I think that would be... that game is just not polished enough to do that. I just wouldn't expect that of it. But they do have everyone who's on the roster could potentially be in a cutscene.
Yeah.
So there's that. I just wanted to counterpoint that a little bit.
I mean, it's
not just the Guardians every time.
With all that being said, like, it's really fun. It's just fun to play. Like,
yes. Oh, and online co-op the Nintendo Online service has been failing us left and right. And I want to say, I have played online co-op with StebDeb for 11 hours, 0 problems. 0 connection problems. He joins my room every time. There's no lag. There's no disconnects. It's perfect.
Then why is Mario Maker 2 all screwed up?
Because this game's not made by Nintendo.
Nintendo developed, man. This is developed by Koei Tecmo Team Ninja, and
they
Mario
need to
Maker.
team up with Nintendo.
I have not tried. I unfortunately have not tried the co-op yet.
Play with me, John.
Yeah, I should. That'd be fun. But the thing that I noticed, I didn't realize this. I complained about it on Twitter, how the AI is really dumb and they never help you with the synergy attacks. But I was using R1. And apparently, if you use R1, they never use the synergy attacks. But if you use, or ZR, whatever it is, if you use ZR in the special attack, then they will automatically do the synergy attack.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't find that out either. I was like confused why the bumper button and the trigger button like were doing different things, and then it took me like a few hours to be like, oh.
And I'm like, there's secrets that you have to use those synergy attacks to open.
Yep.
And I'm like trying to switch really fast between the characters so I could do it with 2 different characters. But no, I could have just did the ZR and it would have worked.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So guys, if you've been stuck, that's how you do it. ZR plus a face button.
It's really fun.
No, I don't.
Who's your team? I guess
who's my team? That's a good question. So, I was playing with Thor, Hulk, and then Stebdub was Venom. I haven't played this game really by myself. Big boys. Yeah, we did. We were doing the like thick boy buff. So it was Hulk, Venom, Thor. And then we had Wolverine for a while, and then after that we got Deadpool, so we swapped Wolverine for Deadpool. And I think that's what the team is now, but then we switched and started over, and because like all of our Spider-Man characters were like level 6.
Yeah.
And then we did Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and then his like level 40 Venom. So like... We like leveled all those up to like level 25, and now we just have like a spider team, which is pretty awesome.
The spider people are really fun to use. Like I have Spider.
Oh, Miles is great.
I love Spider-Man. I like Peter Parker. I've been using him mostly, but like Miles is fun to use, and so is Gwen. Like those are really fun to use. My team, I think right now is Spider-Man, Doctor Strange.
Ooh, nice.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's a good team.
Dude, I got the DLC, so you unlock Deadpool like immediately if you have the DLC, and he was like level 21, and everybody else is like level 5.
Nice, little boost at the beginning there.
So I didn't use him until like I got to him in the story.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that's cool. Camillo, do you think you'll ever pick this game up? What do you think about Marvel or Marvel games in general? Maybe, I don't know. What's your 2 cents, brother?
You guys touched on it a bit. In my opinion, I think it looks like they released the PS2 game today. So
you don't think it looks at least like a PS3 game?
No, PS2. Because it looks like a game that my brother played on the PS2. It looks like one of those like movie adaptation games that like are typically not very good, and I think it relies on the nostalgia too hard to the point where it's like kind of hindering the game, because it's like that enclosed area, like beat 'em up, and then like you were saying, like it's different models for the cutscenes than for the gameplay. So I don't know. I feel like they could have put more effort in that.
Yeah, I agree. It feels a little bit like a budget title, which is unfortunate because it has the most expensive license in known existence.
That's probably why it is such a like. It's not, top of the line graphics and systems, because they have to pay that license for.
Yeah, I wonder how that contract works. That's interesting. What do you think, Dan?
I think from what I've heard that. Like if they can compromise the graphics to make it look like PS2 and get or PS3 and get solid online multiplayer like smoothly, then maybe Mario Maker 2 should have gone the a few generations back console. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. And they still couldn't pull off the multiplayer.
I think Nintendo's online, like, I don't know, background is just bad. I don't think.
Let's try not to go on too much of a tangent on Nintendo Online.
There's no excuse, but yeah, I mean, it looks like it could be a fun game. I probably won't pick it up, but if I find myself in possession of it, I wouldn't be against giving it a try, I suppose.
It's a very
nice.
I was like into Marvel like a few years ago, and then like I just didn't I like didn't keep up with the movies, and then like I'm like, oh, I want to watch the movies, and then I just became like apathetic about it. Like I don't really care at this point.
Yeah, I really like Marvel, but I'm not a fan of playing online with other people.
You don't have to do that.
You can play it by yourself.
Yeah, I play by myself all day.
Yeah, I played in like the rifts and stuff. Some of them you can only do solo.
Yeah, the
And
the
they're
character
hard.
riffs.
Yeah, dude, that Spider-Man was hard.
That
I
is
was like,
hard. Make sure you get a level 25-ish Spider-Man before doing it.
Dude, I think it resets you to 20.
Does it?
Yeah, because my Spider-Man's like level 30, and when I played it, it was level 20.
Oh, I cheesed it. I must have cheesed that trial because it was rough.
Well, then my last thought about it is, looks like it could be fun. I've got so many other games I need to dig into. I wouldn't seek it out to play, though.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. My final thoughts are, if you like Marvel and graphic fidelity is not a major issue to you, definitely pick it up. It's a fun button masher that you can play with your friends or by yourself. Okay. So normally when we end these podcasts, quickly, guys, I want to say, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that like button, ring that notification bell, join our Discord, and then also all of our channels and our social media are in the links down below in the description. Please do all of that stuff. We appreciate it always. And normally we end this segment on a personal note, and we kind of talk about what games we're playing and yada, yada, yada. But we kind of did that during the podcast today. And there's also something really important that I wanted to talk about. And so we're just going to take a minute here and talk about something a little bit more serious at the end of the podcast. So Desmond Mofa, known as Attica, passed away about a month ago at the age of 29. We're bringing this up because we've talked about Attica in the past on the podcast, and I wanted to make a short statement. If anyone out there is struggling with mental health issues or know somebody who is, don't be afraid to reach out to someone, a friend, a teacher, a parent, or a professional. I'm a firm believer that we need to break down the stigmas of mental health and treat it like any other illness. If you break your arm, you can go to a doctor and get a cast. And my personal dream is for someone suffering from depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, anything, can go find a treatment plan just as easily as mending a broken bone, because that's what we need to help the people in our society. And on that note, I want to say that I love you all very much, and I am very grateful for everybody who watches every week, either here on the Game Pack or on my personal channel or on John's channel, Camp's channel, or Dan's channel. And I'll just leave you guys with a thank you. Bye-bye.